Okay, I've gone back and reset everything. I'll go over here to the left and start loading a few more of these guys in so we have something to work with. And I'm just doing the basic things. I'm not using the transition generator or any of this other stuff. Just again to go over what the icons are. The first icon loads a random example. The second icon modifies a random example by changing one of the values inside. And then, of course, the third button sends to stage. We've already seen that, so I can go try variations out over here on the left and then send the ones that I want over to the right. Okay, so there are even more strange features here, which I'm going to go into next. One of them is a generator, which actually generates a random Hydra sketch. It's actually based on some code by a gentleman named Alejandro Caminati, who is an Argentinian DJ and producer who created a Hydra program, a Python program that generates Hydra programs and made it available to end users, and you can actually go to his website and run it and so forth. But anyway, I took the Python program, converted it to JavaScript, basically kept all of his good ideas, which are many, and then built it in. So that's a little easier for people to use because you can just hit a push button. So here we see a bunch of parameters that can control the random generation, such as the minimum number of functions to generate, the maximum number of functions to generate, the minimum value for the arguments that are being sent to the functions, and the maximum values. The probability of a function callback, which means that it dynamically modifies some of the parameters by doing a JavaScript function. Then there's a probability for how many times you do that JavaScript function is actually referred to the mouse. And then finally, there's what's called a probability of O0, which is another way of saying probability that you're going to generate a function that uses the output of the last cycle as an input so that you can get feedback or all kinds of other types of effects. And again, every time you hit this, you'll see it'll make a new sketch over here. And again, if I press this, it gets sent to the stage. And so forth. And so this makes it easy to try new ideas out, and maybe 1 out of 10 are worth doing something with, but it's definitely a great way to continue being inspired. So let me close this for a minute and go back to normal behavior, which is where this thing just loads one of the random examples already saved up. I'm going to show another feature, which is that if you hold the shift key down when you're using send to stage, what it'll do is it'll now generate an interpolation, or a morph, if you will, between the current sketch and the last sketch, and it'll go step, step, step from one to the next. And so let's see what we get when we do that. So it does strange things, and I can again queue up the one I want to try here, like say over there. There we go. Let's see what that looks like. Sometimes they look interesting, and sometimes they're complete garbage, and that, of course, is what glitch art is all about. So we'll have some fun with that. And again, all these things can be used together. Again, I went over what the mutate current code thing does. It's a sort of a tradition for Hydra in general anyway. So anyway, next thing to do is to go over what some of these other icons do, and I'll go stop the recording and start it again.